Good evening. Now, I don't know whether you've noticed, but some months we seem to celebrate a different international day or World Day almost every second day, or sometimes even every day. International days are generally designated by the United Nations, by NGOs, or by civil society organisations to mark specific historic events or to raise awareness about societal, environmental, or political issues in the world. In the month of May, there are almost 20 international days. There is World Bee Day to raise awareness of the problems concerning our furry pollinator friends. There is World Press Freedom Day to highlight the threats that journalists can face. And there is World No Tobacco Day, which promotes campaigns to stop people smoking. Now, back in May of this year, at the height of the lockdown, I was scrolling the headlines and I discovered that the 28th of May is World Menstrual Hygiene Day. Now, personally, I'm sure as much as the next woman that menstrual hygiene is important, but nevertheless, I was a bit surprised. So I decided to do some research to find out why the topic merits its own international day. Now, for most girls in Europe, the onset of puberty might be tinged with awkwardness as they have their first period, but nevertheless, it's a fairly straightforward rite of passage. And they are generally well prepared and well informed by schools and family and friends. However, elsewhere, the situation might not be so straightforward. In some parts of the world, in some communities, menstruation is still associated with a certain stigma. Women are encouraged not to mix in society when they are menstruating, for example. And in other countries, there is even a real taboo concerning the topic. Take India, for example. Their stigma remains very common, both in the public and the private sectors in India. People simply don't talk much about periods, if at all, at home. According to UNICEF, 71% of young Indian women are unaware of what menstruation even is before they have their first period. And many young men are entirely ignorant of the fact that periods even exist until they get married. Now, one young female and entrepreneur, Aditya Gupta, founded a company called Menstrupedia. This produces comic books to teach girls about periods in schools. She said it was based on her experience because when she was growing up, advertising about sanitary towels was banned on primetime television, and her family always changed the topic in embarrassment if it ever came up. But there's also a financial issue as well. Recent market research in India found that 70% of women in the country, that's 70, could not afford basic sanitary products. So instead, they turned to homemade approaches such as newspapers, leaves, and cotton rags. Now, obviously, this involves certain physical discomfort and hygiene issues, but it's more than that. There's a broader issue here. In India, about 23% of girls drop out of school when they reach puberty because of the shame associated with periods and the lack of access to sanitary towels. Now, obviously, if they don't finish school, they won't get decent work and they will be stuck in a cycle of poverty, or at least dependency on male family members. However, before you get the wrong idea and think that this is just an India-specific topic, the EU has issues of its own. After all, the tampon tax debate has been raging for many years. In numerous EU countries, the maximum VAT rate is applied to sanitary products. In Hungary, for example, that's 27%. And even in Germany, 19% was applied right up until the start of 2020. So the organisers of World Menstrual Hygiene Day are campaigning to abolish taxes on sanitary products, to make sure they're affordable to all women and girls, and also to make sure that girls are well informed about menstruation before they have their first period. Now, I would just like to conclude, however, by saying that it's not all doom and gloom, because there is some light and indeed some levity on the scene in the form of the Indian Premier Cricket League. One major top-tier team, the Rajastan Royals, hit the pitch this September in their new jerseys, pink and purple, I believe, jerseys, emblazoned with the name of their new sponsor, a sponsor called Nine, which is a sanitary towel brand. As you can imagine, this is the first time that an Indian cricket team, or indeed any Indian sports team, has been sponsored by a sanitary towel brand. And to say that cricket is popular in India was a vast understatement. Last year alone, 462 million viewers watch cricket regularly on TV. So in a country where discussions of periods and menstruation have long been taboo, this is a sign of progress indeed. And it's just one of several recent developments. Even the Indian Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, spoke about the importance of women having access to cheap sanitary products as a vital means for women's empowerment. And he said this on Independence Day in a speech where hundreds of millions of people were watching. So to go back to the entrepreneur that I mentioned earlier, Aditya Gupta, she says that this is a clear sign that India is making slow but sure progress on the issue of menstruation. And she looks forward to a day when in India, the only thing that a period puts an end to is a sentence. Thank you.